So this is a first. I actually shot a whole video, 11 minutes long, and as I was getting ready to edit, I was like, I don't like this video. I don't like the video. So I decided to right now do something different. And what had happened was a friend of mine had texted me and was like, "Hey, I'm thinking about getting a Switch. Should I get a Switch?" And I started to think about it, and I don't know. So let's have a discussion. What is up, everybody? Bobby here, the Nintendo Guru, and look it, man, we're already in uncharted territory. This is something I've never really ever done before, and it's kind of thrown me for a little bit of a loop. But I thought to myself, I've liked doing one topic videos, kind of having discussions on them and such. And then I did this video where I was breaking down the news and all that, and I was just like,
Just don't like it. It's just not. It's. You get me, right? That whole that extra stuff. My apologies.
So I had a friend of mine just text me a short minute ago and was like, "Hey, I'm considering getting a Switch. What is your suggestions? Like, should I get one? Should I not?" And my first knee jerk reaction was like, "Yes, get a Switch." And then my second reaction was, "Well, I don't know, because how badly do you want a Switch?" I just did the video yesterday where I felt like the latest update was a sign that we're potentially getting a new Pro or Mini Switch. And I look at this and I go, so the question would be, if you're asking me, if I didn't own a Switch, would I go buy a Switch right now? And I would probably wait. If there was no pressure, no rush for me to have a Switch, if there wasn't a game launching tomorrow that I had to have, if I've made it this long without buying a Switch, for me, I would probably wait, and I would probably wait until E3. That would be my answer. My answer is, to anybody, should you buy a Switch right now? My answer is no. Wait until E3, which is in June, to see, does Nintendo announce this Pro, this Mini. If you go to E3, if we get to E3 and Nintendo has not announced, well, at that point, to me, it's a no-brainer. You go out the next day, that day, whatever. Once E3's done, that week of E3, when that's done and complete, if Nintendo hasn't announced a Switch, go buy a Switch. Because then I can't say that we're definitely getting one in 2019, an upgraded version. But for me, I look at it and I go, man, it would be real painful for me to tell you, go buy a Switch right now. And then you run to the store, and then, man, in 2 months, Nintendo announces an upgraded Switch. It's more powerful, has a better bezel, all this crazy stuff. Whew. People would be mad at me for saying that. And that's the thing. Like, I looked at it and I was like, I started to think about it, and I said, this is probably the first time in my life that I've actually told people, don't buy a Switch. Like, wait. And I think this is something why Nintendo's not talking about it, because this is what happens. It's kind of one of those quasi things of like, when if Sony comes out right now and goes, we're going to have the PS5 in this year, you know, people that might not buy a PS4, they might wait to see, am I going to get a PS? Like right now, Xbox came out and said, we have an announcement on our next Xbox coming at E3. Right? So if they make that announcement, they say at E3 we're going to make our next announcement of a console, well, you've just lost a guaranteed 2 months of sales. And then depending on what you talk about at that E3, you may have potentially lost another 6 months of sales. Because if you sit there and you go like, hey, we're going to have a new Xbox in fall, people are like, well, I know I'm not buying a new system until fall. Nintendo's in that boat where if Nintendo comes out at E3 and goes, hey man, in fall we're going to have a brand new Switch Pro, people don't buy a Switch for 6 months at least. Why would you? Makes no sense. Makes no sense to go out and spend money and buy something that is being upgraded in a few months. So you might as well just hold on at the moment and go, no, 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 no. Again, if you have a group of friends that are playing a game, maybe Animal Crossing comes out next month. Well, then that's a different ballgame. Now you got to say to yourself, can I wait 6 months for Animal Crossing? Or whatever game it might be. And that's a different answer altogether. So when I look at it, it's not a simple yes and no question. I think there's a lot of variables that you have to answer and you have to ask yourself before you dive in to a Nintendo Switch right now at this moment. And here's the questions that we would ask. Can you wait for a Nintendo Switch? Would it bother you if you bought a Switch today and in 2 months Nintendo announced a brand new, shiny, better Nintendo Switch? If your answer to those questions are, yes, I can wait, yes, I'd be upset, then your answer is, no, don't buy a Switch. But on the contrary, if your answer is, no, I can't wait, no, I wouldn't be upset, then your answer is, yes, go get a Switch right now. And I think those are the two defining questions that you have to ask yourself before you determine to jump into this and go, do I buy a Switch right now? It's not a simple yes-no answer. And I think you ask yourself them two questions, and depending on what your answer is, that defines what it is. Now, as a Nintendo fan, is there a great library right now? A reason to warrant owning a Switch? Absolutely. If there was no new Switch on the horizon, it's an absolute yes.
What do you mean you haven't bought one yet? What are you waiting for? Are you sick? You're having this conversation with me?
That's the way I'm going to look at you. But in this particular environment, I don't know that I can honestly look someone in the eyes and go, you have to have this thing right now. Go buy, what do you mean? Go buy it now? No. Because the back flack, the attitude people would give you, how mad people would be because you basically swayed them the wrong way. Because that's the last thing you want to do. For me, I'm an idiot. Alright, so if I was to buy a Switch now, I would definitely buy one later. And the only reason I would be buying a Switch right now was because I screwed up and didn't get one at launch, and we couldn't get them. When the Wii came out, I screwed up. I didn't buy one in launch day, and it just took me 2 years to track one down. And by the way, I paid $500 on eBay to get it. Like, that's just craziness, the kind of money that was spent on that thing. But this one I was ready for, and I jumped on day one. And I've been that way. The Wii U, day one. 3DS, day one. You know, everything since has been day one for me when it comes to Nintendo. I want to be talking about it. I want to be part of the story. I want to have fun with it. So I'm jumping in from day one and learning and talking about things as we progress, because that's what I'm all about. And that's what I love. There's people out there that aren't like that. They're not into gaming and Nintendo as much. So I think that right now, the simple answer is ask yourself two questions and then go from there. So that is all. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please slap the like button down below. Share it with all your friends. If you're not a subscriber, if you're new here, please do me a favor. Hit the subscribe button. You won't regret it. I promise you. I can't make promises like that because I am kind of stupid and I do stupid stuff and I say dumb stuff. You probably get mad at me. You're probably going to hate me, but I apologize beforehand. I love you. I don't even know you and I love you. So please subscribe. Follow me Instagram, Twitter, @Nintendo Gurus. That is all. Peace out, Preston.